Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Terry, and this is Galactic Gaia. I'm here today with my good friends, Dr. Gail, Skywalking with Moon, and Kelly, Calihealer. So today we like to talk to other healers on YouTube and talk about what they do and kind of looking at all the different modalities that are available for you. And today we have Kelly, and Kelly is an angelic interspiritual healer. Hi, Kelly.
Hello, Dr. Gail and Terry. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here with you guys today.
Well, we're so glad to have you. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, this channel's new, and we're just trying to introduce everybody to different types of healings because we don't know what each other do. And this is
Yeah.
a place for people to come look at short videos of each individual and not even have to, because a lot of times, even when you look at people's websites, you can't figure out what they do.
So
But
true.
so that we're having a collection or a library of different videos on healers, and they can come to this channel, look at the different people they're interested in, look at their videos and know what they do.
That's a beautiful, beautiful gift you guys are giving.
Aw.
It is. It is. Thank you. Because you're absolutely right. People will email me and message me and go, now, what exactly do you do? Because sometimes it's really hard to explain it all in your bio,
Right.
and so to be able to hear it, and be explained on video is a great gift you guys are giving.
Well, and it helps others that are on their path too, because they understand then I think that they can make it their own and you
Yeah.
self-taught in what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and many of us I feel like are remembering our gifts as we go along. So can you talk about what you do, Kelly?
Yeah. Yeah. So, probably about 16 years ago, I was seeing a shaman, and I would go to her maybe once or twice a year. And this particular visit, she asked me, she goes, why aren't you using your healing abilities? And I just, I answered, well, I didn't know why I was using them. And she gave me an exercise, and she said, I want you to go home. And she said, your husband has a bad shoulder, and I want you to go home and heal it. And I kind of looked at her with a glaze over in my eyes, like, okay. I said, I'm not really sure how I'm going to do it. And she said, you'll know. She said, you were a shaman in another life. And she said, this exercise is just going to open you up, and you'll learn, you'll just know your gifts. And well, then my next question was to her, well, don't I have to go to school? Don't I have to take any classes? And she said, no. She said, the healing that you're going to be doing is going to be different from what everybody else is doing. She said, just trust me. And she wanted me to check back with her. And so I did. I went home, and and the other thing is, she says, but don't tell your husband you're doing healing on him. And so, at night when we were in bed, he'd fall asleep, and sometimes I'd put my hands on his shoulder. Sometimes I wouldn't. I would just be sending him healing, and not really knowing what I was doing, because this was all new to me. And I continued, and so I probably like 2 weeks had gone by, and we were in the kitchen, and I said, hey, I said, how's your shoulder doing? And he goes, golly, he goes, it hasn't hurt for a while. He said, that's really weird. He said, he goes, he was moving it around. He goes, it doesn't hurt. And I said, well, I said, I healed it. And I got the whole eye roll, like, sure you did, Kelly. And really, and in honesty, it's not me. It's not me. I am just the vessel. I work with my angels, my guides, God, ancestors. I have a tribe of ancestors on the other side that really have come forward to really help me with my healing. And so he was skeptical at, he really didn't believe believe it. And I was fine with it. And so anyway, yeah, I saw her again and I said, yeah, I said, his shoulder is healed. And she said, now I just want you to go forward. And she said, anybody that needs healing. And she says, you don't even have to tell them. She said, if there's somebody, she said, just start out just sending them healing. And she said, they'll either accept it or they won't. But she said, this will, this will just help improve your healing gifts. And so I did that. And then, if there was somebody, a friend or a family that, had, a sickness or, an ailment, or, a pain or whatever was going on, I would send them healing. And I think that the turning point for me was, I have a cousin and she was coming out to my house to stay. She was planning on coming out to stay for the weekend. But she lived in Minneapolis and she had gone to the doctor and then was planning on coming out. But little did she know when she was at the doctor, she got some bad news. Her doctor had found a lump on her breast and wanted her to come in the following day for another mammogram and an ultrasound and another exam. And so she called me on her way out and she said, I'm not going to be able to stay for the weekend. I'm just going to be able to come out for the night. She said, I was just at the doctor and they found a lump on my breast. And I said, don't panic. I said, it's all good. I said, it's all good. I said, we're going to heal this. And so this was like my first time and I, over 16 years ago, I set up a little place in my house for healing, and I had angels and candles and my crystals, and I called on, because this was like the first time I was actually going to work on somebody, and so she got to my house, and I had her lay down, and I kept working on her, and now through the years, it's like when I'm working on somebody, imagery will come through and feelings. But if I'm working on somebody that has like an ailment or something in their body that I'm healing, I'll see green when I know they're receiving the healing. And when I see like really dark green, I know they're healed. And so I was working on her and I was doing the hands-on healing. And when I was done, I said, you know what? I saw green, but I said it wasn't the dark green that I feel like I should be seeing. So I said, I think in the morning, let's get up early. Let's do another healing on you before you leave back to Minneapolis to see the doctor. And so that morning I worked on her, and she took off, and I did see green. I seen dark green when I finished with her, and she took off to Minneapolis and saw the doctor and called me after, and she said, Kelly, you're not going to believe this. She said the doctor, like now I'm covered in goosebumps. She said the doctor she said she couldn't explain it. She said the lump was gone. And I'm like, and even myself, I'm like, really? It was, because I was probably just as excited as she was, but that was really like the turning point, because, then when I told my husband, he's like, oh, after hearing it from a doctor, that it was there the day before, I worked on her and it was gone. And so that was kind of the turning point. And then, it was friends and family started, asking and calling. And before I knew it, I was booking sessions with people.
That's a great story.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you. And so now, and so like 16 years ago, I was mainly doing hands-on healing, because that was just kind of what you did. And now things have progressed where I mainly do remote healing. Since we've moved here, I've had a few people into the house that I've done hands-on, but it's mainly now what I do is remote healing. And I have a service that everyone enjoys. It's cord cutting. I cut cords. I do healing on whatever I feel in their body, or I'll ask them to, if there's something, specific in their body that they're having trouble with, that needs healing. And then I'll clear their energy, align their chakras. And then they also get a reading, because I start working on them before their session. And so I channel in a lot of messages, and a lot of times their loved ones will come through. And so the day of their session, I work on them for an hour, doing the healing, the cord cutting, the clearing of the energy, and any other messages that I may get. And then I meet them online, just like we're doing here, and I go over where their cords were in their body, where there was problematic energy blockages in their body, and then I deliver the messages.
Yeah, can I ask you a question, Kelly? So let me understand this process, that you actually do the healings when they don't know the healing's occurring, correct?
They do know they do know. I'll start working on them, like a week earlier, just channeling in messages and working on the cords in their body. And then the day of the session, that's when I go into their body and cut the cords. Because for me, for the cords in their body, I feel it in my body. So it's say somebody has got a cord in the right side of their neck. I will get a pain in the right side of my neck, or I'll feel like a pinching in the right side of my neck. And
Thanks.
so
That's going to be my next question.
yeah.
That's why you would do it. Yes.
Yeah. And so then I know. And then I write that down. And so that's the work I do like a week before I meet up with them. And then the day that I meet up with them, I go in and I know I don't necessarily just cut those cords. I mean, I start working way above and out and cut them all. But I do share the cords that I felt in their body. And a lot of times it's amazing that that's where they've either had an injury or they're having trouble. They're having trouble in their body.
What about organs and things? Are you feeling those, or is it just the cords that you feel?
I do sometimes feel stuff in their organs, not as cords more so than the organs. I have a feeling though that at some point that's going to be another huge part of it.
Well, I mean, you can subscribe to the thought of taking care of the cords. The organ's going to be fine after that, because that cord's close to or attached to certain things of the spine, the organs, and the chakras. And then when you're taking care of the cords that you feel, then you're allowing that body to heal in that area.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't really know the significance of cords. I think they just don't really understand. And I didn't, at one point I didn't understand cords either. And when a person thinks about when everything is energy, people, places, things, and, going back even into our childhood, if there was, something that happened traumatic at school, I mean, there could be a cord, with it between you and the school, or, a teacher, and all of that, it can hold us back. And the longer, how I see and feel it, the longer the cord is there, the thicker it is. And sometimes, they do have to come back for, an additional couple sessions for me to get to the cord, because it is a lot thicker.
What is it?
Oh, sorry, Terry. Go ahead.
No. Oh, what does it look like when you cut the cord? Do you imagine like Archangel Michael's sword or a knife, or what does that look like? Or is it just energy?
For me, I just visualize energy and white light. And I sometimes, if the cord is really thick, I will use my selenite wand and use it, because, and for me, it seems like it helps cut it, probably because it's something physical, that it feels like it's helping get it. But typically it's energy. And and when it's cut, I can literally feel that, that energy like dissipate. And so then I know, no, I have it. And how I know it's still there is like I'll either still feel it, or I I'll feel the heaviness too. And so it isn't until that cord is completely cut, where I'll feel the lightness of the energy.
Okay. Well, can you describe the type of healings that people would sign up for and how they would find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Kelly Healer, and then on YouTube, Kelly Healer. And I have my email address. I don't have my telephone number on there because I just don't feel real comfortable with that. But I do have my email address where you can email me, and I'm booked out like right now until I'm almost May. Like,
So do you have a website where they can schedule an appointment with you, or do you email you to schedule an appointment?
yeah, you have to email me to schedule an appointment. However, my husband has promised me that he is going to be doing a website for me.
Okay.
And so, yeah, so right now, if anybody is looking for a session, yesterday I booked April 30th, so it'll be May now for the next sessions that are
Good for you. Good for you. Yeah, I've had one of Kelly's healings before, and they're amazing.
Oh,
So I can definitely say they are. So yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Kelly. It's remarkable what you're doing. I love it.
thanks you guys for inviting me and just allowing me a space to share and thinking of me. I appreciate it so very much.
Yes. Thank you for being here. And thanks, Terry, for bringing her on. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that's one of my favorite things about Kelly is how she says thank you all the time, because I want to be like Kelly when I grow up.
Oh gosh, no, I know. I do say thank you a lot, but I mean it. It's like it's like I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
For the opportunity.
Yeah. All right. Well, everybody have a great day, and thank you for being here.